something better. Question. A is the father of B. But B is not the son of A. How's that possible? For the answer, wait till the end of the video. In this video, I am going to cover the main concepts related to probability. Or simply, this video is an introduction to probability. What is probability? In our day-to-day life we generally use the words probably, likely, etc. in many statements such as, "It will probably rain today," "He is probably right," "India's cricket team has good chances of winning the World Cup 2007. In such statements, we generally use the words probably, chances, etc. These words convey the sense that the event is not certain to take place or, in other words, there is uncertainty about the occurrence of the event in the question. The uncertainty of these words can be measured numerically by means of probability. Probability does not tell us what is going to happen. Probability tells us what to expect from the event. Various approaches to probability. There are three approaches to probability, that are: experimental or empirical approach, classical approach, and axiomatic approach. Experimental or empirical approach to probability. The word experiment means an operation, which can produce some well-defined outcomes. There are two types of experiments: deterministic and random or probabilistic. Deterministic experiments are those experiments which, when repeated under identical conditions, produce the same result or outcome. For example, if we mark head H on both sides of a coin and it is tossed, then we always get the same outcome assuming that it does not stand vertically. If an experiment, when repeated under identical conditions, do not produce the same outcome every time but the outcome in a trial is one of the several possible outcomes, then it is known as random or probabilistic experiment. For example, in the tossing of a coin one is not sure if a head H or a tail T will be obtained, so it is a random experiment. Definitions of various terms. Trial. When we perform an experiment it is called a trial of the experiment. For example, if a coin is tossed 10 times, then each toss is called a trial. Elementary event. An outcome of a trial is an elementary event. For example, in tossing of a coin, the possible outcomes are heads H and tails T. Therefore, if we define E1 equals getting heads H on the upper face of the coin, and E2 equals getting tails T on the upper face of the coin, then E1 and E2 are elementary events associated to the experiment of tossing of a coin. Compound event. A collection of two or more possible outcomes of a trial of a random experiment is called a compound event. In other words, a collection of two or more elementary events associated to an experiment is a compound event. For example, in a throw of a cubical die, the event getting an even number is a compound event as it is the collection of three elementary events or outcomes, namely 2, 4, 6. Similarly, getting an odd number is also a compound event. Occurrence of an event. An event associated to a random experiment is said to occur in a trial if any one of the elementary events satisfying its conditions is an outcome. For example, let a die be rolled and the outcome of the trial be 4. Then we can say that each of the following events has happened. A. Getting a number greater than 2. B. Getting a number less than or equal to 5. C. Getting an even number. On the basis of the same outcome, we can also say that the following events have not happened. A. Getting an odd number. B. Getting a multiple of 3. Empirical probability. Definition. Let there be n trials of an experiment and A. be an event associated to it such that A. happens in m trials, then the empirical probability of happening of event A. is denoted by Pa and is given by Pa equals m upon n. That is, Pa equals number of trials in which the event happens, upon total number of trials. Clearly, 0 is lesser than or equal to m, and m is lesser than or equal to n. Therefore, 0 is lesser than or equal to m upon n, and m upon n is lesser than or equal to 1. So, 0 is lesser than or equal to Pa, and Pa is lesser than or equal to 1. Thus, the probability of happening of an event always lies between 0 and 1. If Pa equals 1, then A is called a certain event and A is known as an impossible event, if P equals 0. Examples: a coin is tossed 500 times with the following frequencies of two outcomes. Head, 240 times, tail, 260 times. Find the probability of occurrence of each of these events. It is given that the coin is tossed 500 times, therefore, total number of trials equals 500. Let us denote the events of getting a head and of getting a tail by A and B, respectively. Then, number of trials in which the event A happens equals 240. And, number of trials in which the event B happens equals 260. Therefore, P equals number of trials in which the event A happens upon total number of trials equals 240 upon 500 equals 0.48, and PB equals number of trials in which the event B happens upon total number of trials equals 260 upon 500 equals 0.52. Note, we note that PA plus PB equals 0.48 plus 0.52. Therefore, A and B are the only two possible outcomes of a trial. In a cricket match, a batsman hits a boundary 8 times out of 40 balls he plays. Find the probability that he didn't hit a boundary. Let A denote the event that the batsman did not hit a boundary. We have total number of trials equals 40. Number of trials in which the event A happened equals 40 minus 8 equals 32. Therefore, P equals 32 upon 40 equals 4 upon 5 equals 0.8. Classical and axiomatic approach will be covered in the upcoming videos. Here is the answer, because B is the daughter of A. Thanks for watching. Also watch